Hi, I'm Kat, and it's the middle of the year. It's time to freak out. So it's June 2017 already. So what's happened this year? I went to Sydney. I climbed the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I waited for a lot of planes. So I'm in the lounge room, and there is big windows right there, and the mailman walked right past them and right up to the door. Sure, the mailman thinks I'm crazy. So continuing, other stuff that has happened besides the mailman seeing me recording. I graduated university. I turned 22. And I've read quite a few books, just there's so many more books to read. So let's commence the freaking out questions. This tag was created by Chammy and Ellie in 2015, but they also revamped it to a 2016 version, so I am using the questions from the 2016 version. Question 1. Best book you've read so far in 2017? Shut up, birds! Thank you. So if you know me at all, you know I love Sarah J Maas and Cassandra Clare, and they both released books this year. So the two best books I've read so far this year are Griffin. So the two best books I've read this year are Aqua and Lord of Shadows. I laughed, I cried, I sighed with relief, I cursed authors' names. Both of them made me feel the things. Question 2. Best sequel you've read so far in 2017? Question 3. New release you haven't read yet but want to. That would be King's Cage by Victoria Aveyard. Now you see, back when Red Queen came out, I bought the hardcover online. And then when Glass Sword came out, I bought it the day it came out at Barnes & Noble in Boston. And then the third one was released, and I was in Australia and trying not to spend money. So I haven't bought any books online. Well, I mean, one, but it came with a free bookmark. And I haven't seen the hardcover in any stores, so I just haven't bought it yet. But, you know, sometime this year I will probably buy it online or something then. Question 4. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Now surprisingly, it's not a Sarah J Maas book because I don't care about Kale all that much. So this one is a Leigh Bardugo book, and that is Wonder Woman Warbringer. I love Wonder Woman. She is amazing. She has always been my favorite superhero. I love Diana Prince. I love Wonder Woman. I'm currently watching the original Wonder Woman series all the way through, and it's kind of actually better than I thought it was going to be for being a show in the 70s that's set in the 40s. Funny story, I have this memory of being back in kindergarten and being at a friend's birthday party, and the two of us weren't hanging out with the rest of the kids. We were in his cubby house watching like a Justice League cartoon or something, and he was pretending to be Batman and I was pretending to be Wonder Woman. So I've loved Wonder Woman for a long time. Question 5. Biggest disappointment? So I've gone into most of the books I've read this year kind of knowing what to expect. So I guess maybe the biggest disappointment would be Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken. I enjoyed it, I just wasn't amazed by it. Question 6. Biggest surprise? So I've been catching up on some books this year, and the biggest surprise for me is the Game Board of the Gods books by Rochelle Mead. This is one of her adult series, and I haven't read any of her other adult series yet, but I bought these two when they first came out, and I finally read them this year, and I loved them. Basically, it's set in the future, and America's gone through like another revolution, and the revolution had a lot to do with how religion affected people, so the government is now very secular and controls what religions people can practice. But in this world, gods are real. There's Greek gods, there's Roman gods, there's Egyptian gods, there's Norse gods, there's Celtic gods, and I loved it so much more than I thought I was going to. But now the problem is, it's supposed to be a trilogy. The first 2 books are out, but Penguin is refusing to publish the 3rd book, and the 2nd book ends on a cliffhanger. So I need to know what happens. Like, I don't care if you just release it as an ebook. I need to know, Penguin. Question 7. Favorite new author, either debut or new to you? For me, that's probably Jen Wilde, who is the author of Queens of Geek. I had an idea of what this book was going to be before I went in, but then I read it and I loved it. It's fluffy, it's fangirly, and it's Australian. Jen Wilde is an Australian author, and her 2 main characters are Australian, and my favorite Australian thing in it is that it explains to an American that we call them prawns, not shrimp. It's also full of diversity and fandom references are everywhere. I can't wait to read more Gen Wild books. Question 8. Newest fictional crush. So these two aren't really new, but then I read the new book this year and it just reinforced my love for these two. And that is Cassian and Rhysand from the ACOTAR series. Question 9. Newest favorite character. And that is May from the Game Board of the God series. She is very much like Rose Hathaway and kind of maybe Selena Sardothien, and those two are like my all-time favorite girls. So mush them together and you kind of get May. So I love it. Question 10. A book that made you cry. Question 11. A book that made you happy, but also... Question 12. Most beautiful book you've bought this year. You know, there's been a few, but my favorites are probably Queens of Geek, Lord of Shadows, Caravel, and Alex and Eliza. Question 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Literally just like as many on my physical TBR as I can. And lastly, favorite book community member. Here's 3 booktubers / bloggers that you should watch. Gabby from Gabriella Pop, Kate from Kate's Little Corner, or whatever her name is now, and Ellie from Earl Grey Books. Done. So now I've freaked a little about the books I've already read this year. Time to move on to the second half of 2017. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and comment below what is your most anticipated release for the second half of 2017.